If you knew morning wood, then you know why I feel blue. Without morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning wood. Morning wood, morning wood. Oh, how my heart yearns for you. Oh, morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning wood. Morning wood, morning wood. Pretty, 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 pretty morning wood. Oh, morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you and I need you, morning wood. I love you, morning wood, with a love so rare and true. Oh, morning, my morning wood. Well, I love you, I want you, morning wood. Morning wood, morning wood.
Happy Devil's Wednesday. This is The Morning Woo. Coming to you live from Edison, New Jersey in the Primetime Radio Studios Mobile Command Center in an undisclosed location, beautiful New Jersey. Really, I'm in Edison, New Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, and now on Instagram Live on the Let's Go Devils Network. Talking Devils hockey on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday mid-morning now. Now it's 11:06 a.m. Eastern. Just want to let you know that sorry for the delay. I actually got to work early this morning, but there was a big accident, commute, a couple switcheroos, and then suddenly I find myself in Edison, New Jersey. And I also, if you look at the screen, I'll talk to you a little bit about Woo Bus 1 road trip, Devils at Islanders, January 6th. For more information, email me at sam@letsgodevils.com. Well, I'll be talking a little bit more about that shortly, about that trip. But, yeah, I should probably fix that graphic just a little bit. Now it's just bothering me, my OCD. So let me just fix that graphic just so it fits perfectly on the screen. So, yeah, that looks about fine. Yeah. That's close enough. Anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit of Devils hockey. Also, I got something to get off my chest as well because a certain WFAN host last night after the Woo Report, I was listening on my long commute home after that 4-car pileup on Route 78 West. I decided I got to call this WFAN host out. But before we get there, I just want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm trying to open up the chat room right now on the YouTube Live. It's just not showing up for me right now. I see that Max is there now. Now I got there Max. I see Wimpy. I see Pod Legend. All talking, and let people file in. And also, I want to also share this with my friends as well, because let me tell you, I was not happy yesterday, but let's just go over some news before we go over to Devils fan talking points in case you are trolled. That's the title of the Morning Woo. So, Brett Pesce, I think, is going to be back today with the New Jersey Devils as the Devils take on the Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to have State of the Fan address moving from 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight to 8 p.m. Eastern, presented by pucksandpitchforks.com. We're going to have Game Day Live at 9:15 p.m. Eastern tonight. 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern is the game. And then we have Devils After Dark after the game. So don't miss that. Crap. I can't even get this freaking chat to work. Sometimes, I'm telling you, technology, when I need a producer because I can't be producing and hosting at the same time. I've been yelling about that. I'm actually training Billy Dean to be a producer. But Max says, late woo to you. It's never late when you do the morning woo. Wimpy says, I woke up from a nap. Hopefully this is worth it. Of course it's going to be worth it because we're going to be talking about Devils fans being trolled by WFAN hosts, and which they know nothing about hockey. Pie Legend just getting home from part of my day. Good timing. Thank you. Jim Norton, good morning. Happy Devils Wednesday to you. Pie Legend, I was legit going to reach out. Wonder if Sam heard. I'm not going to name his name. Let's just call that WFAN host Pudgy because that's what he is. Pudgy. No offense, but that's what he looks like. The Pillsbury Doughboy. I thought Sheldon Keefe looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy, but no. This WFAN host, actually, let's call him Pudgy. But before we get to that, so it's good news that Brett Pesce is coming back to the New Jersey Devils. Also, the other thing too. Was about Dougie Hamilton and Andre Palat about, they were asked, these are hard questions about were they asked to waive the no trade clause. It's reported that Dougie Hamilton said, wouldn't answer, but Andre Palat said, no, I don't know anything about it. I wasn't asked, whatever. I think these two, honestly, and I know reporters are doing their jobs. I'm not criticizing them at all. But they're two different answers. I bet you both were asked. Both have different ways of handling those questions. And I think they're entitled to their privacy, whether they want to answer it or not. And I'm okay with that because these are legitimate questions asked by reporters doing their jobs. And I think the players are entitled to their privacy as well. I think both of them handled it differently. Whether Palat was asked or not, I don't know, but I would assume he was. He said he doesn't know. Maybe they asked his agent, whatever. But the bottom line is their cap number is something to look at when you're trying to do this trade. The only thing that I will say, and I'm probably the only one saying this, and again, I could be wrong about the collective bargaining rules, but I think where Fitzy made his mistake was signing Luke Hughes to that entry-level contract after his season was over at Michigan in 2023. He only played 2 regular season games and was, and did play in the playoffs, but was not, of course, he's like a rookie at that time period. And you lose 1 year of that, lose that 1 year, I believe, by signing him, by signing him then. I could be wrong, though. But if Luke was in his last year of his entry-level year this year, he wouldn't be taking up about $8 million of cap space, which could have gone to this Quinn Hughes deal. But I have to get my facts straight on that. I'm going to do some legitimate some legitimate research on that, because I think that's where Fitzy may have made his mistake in terms of the cap in trying to get Quinn Hughes there. But again, hindsight's 2020. Playing Monday morning quarterback sometimes. But okay, all right. Let's see here. I want to answer a couple questions and then and then go to my rant right now. Happy Devils Wednesday to you, Tom. Tom, you got to go on this trip January 6th on the Woo Bus 1 road trip to Long Island. If you have any questions, email me at sam@letsgodevils.com. Randolph Redbeard, have you ever considered during a watch along during the game instead of Devils After Dark or Game Day Live? We've done them many times. In the past, we've had Grant Marshall, Bruce Stryver, Colin White. We would do watch parties, but we would actually, unless you're talking about like watch along during the game, we've done that. Let me tell you, Randolph, it's a pain in the ass to do that. Only because we're subject to it's very hard to do that without getting in trouble. And again, it's a lot of work. And then, but instead of Devils After Dark game, that's not going to happen. Game Day Live and Devils After Dark will always happen. So I could revisit that, Randolph, but again, we tried it in beta version last season. It just there weren't that many people following along to begin with. What's the payment deadline for the trip? I don't know. I'll get that answer from Danielle McCartan for that trip. I asked her the same thing myself. I plan to pay on January 1st. You know, kick it down the road a little bit, but try to get your money in as quickly as possible if you're going to go on this trip, because there have been a few people that have already signed up already, and we haven't even really started promoting this just yet. I'm sitting in the 100 section. That's what I intend to do. All right. So let's get into this WFAN host. We'll nickname Pudgy. What I can't stand, and it's not just WFAN, what I can't stand is the people in the media, in the sports media as a whole, that like to hang on to this false narrative about the New Jersey Devils and the New Jersey Devils fans. I think it's pathetic. It's outdated. It's ignorant. And I decided, well, you know what? What I heard on WFAN and Pod Legend, since you actually heard it on Evan and Tiki yesterday on the Drive Time, which has a lot of listeners, basically this WFAN host decided to say that Henrik Lundqvist by far was better than Marty Brodeur. And it's like, okay. And then the substance behind it, because I'm always the one that says, okay, I'll listen to your argument, but you better back it up, because obviously this guy is just dumb. And in my mind, Pudgy lost his credibility right there when his response was, well, he played in the trap era, and he had a great defense in front of him. And Henrik Lundqvist did not. So if you ever come into any of these freaking debates, because all Ranger fans, no, I shouldn't say that. Majority of the Ranger fans, they don't watch hockey. They watch the Rangers. So they don't know any better. Okay? The Ranger fans that are a student of the game of hockey, like Billy Dean, our good friend, although we bust on him, he actually knows his stuff. I mean, I wouldn't ask him to fill in for State of the Fan address last Wednesday when we did the interview with Lyle Richardson, Spectre Hockey, Hockey News, all those publications, if I didn't trust him that he knew his stuff. He knew his stuff. And he only had 45 minutes to prepare because that was a EBUB, emergency backup broadcaster situation. But I will say that if you ever get in this predicament, when Ranger fans are shooting their mouths like this WFAN pudgy host yesterday, I will say this. Number one, if you're a New York Rangers fan, talking point number one, you've only won 4 cups. 4 cups in 100 years. That's a 4% or less chance of winning a cup. 3 of those cups came before World War II when the United States, I guess when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor in 1941, 3 of those cups came before that. Stan Fischler was probably in diapers. The great Stan Fischler was probably in diapers, probably a toddler in 1940 when the Rangers won their 3rd cup. Back then, they only had 6 teams. So the chances of winning a cup was greater than 10%, probably at 20%. I can't do the math right now. It doesn't matter. There are only 6 freaking teams in the NHL back then, and you didn't have to win 16 games. You only had to win 8 games, hence the octopus, that the tradition that the Detroit Red Wings do. Wimpy says this host is a typical stupid Rangers fan. Yes, but when you get in arguments, and I'm providing talking points on this podcast, when you get in arguments with the New York Rangers fan, I just want you to know they've only won 4 cups, and the 1 cup in 94 should have an asterisk because the New York Rangers in the 1993 offseason, in that summer, took advantage of 2 teams that were not doing well financially, the Edmonton Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks. And, well, they basically transplanted the Edmonton Oilers on that team. And some of the Chicago Blackhawks, Steve Larmer and such, and Mike Keenan, I believe, used to be the coach of that team as well. You can honestly say the 1994 Stanley Cup champions are the New York Oil Hawks, not the Rangers. I mean, it was just basically a transplant, taking advantage of a team that, that was end of its dynasty, and we were having financial issues, and especially, the United States and Canadian currency exchange. If you go back to 94, the U.S. dollar was very strong against the Canadian dollar, and the New York Rangers, to their credit, Roger Nielsen took advantage of that and basically transplanted the team. But anyway, 4 cups in 100 years. But the argument here was this WFAN host, Pudgy, was saying, well, I played in the trap. Well, first off, 1995, the Devils were playing the neutral zone trap. Won the Stanley Cup. In 1997, 1998, the Detroit Red Wings were playing a version of the trap, but they rebranded it the left wing lock, Scotty Bowman. It's essentially still the trap, but they call it the left wing lock. But suddenly the Detroit Red Wings are the dynasty of the league. The media, the hockey media especially, branded the Devils as boring. It must be this trap. They're not a talented team because the media had nothing to write about the New Jersey Devils. Why? Because Lou Lamoriello was very strict with the press and how much information that they got. And, of course, typical media members at that time period were probably like, okay, if I can't write anything, well, I guess this is boring. And they just kept on egging it on, egging it on, egging it on. As soon as Jacques Lemaire was relieved of his duties, it was Robbie Ftorek that brought a much more aggressive style. The Devils were not really playing the trap in 1998-99. Larry Robinson did implement the trap when he relieved Robbie Ftorek's duties. But in 2000 and 2001, the Devils led the league in scoring. So you can't, the trap was like already phased out at that point. But Pat Burns came in 2003, 2002, 2003. They kind of play the trap. Whatever. Let's get our facts straight. But the talking point is the Devils stopped playing the trap around the late 90s. But the media kept on saying that it must have been the trap why? Because the media didn't do their homework. All right? It's not boring hockey when you win. Comparing Henrik Lundqvist to Marty Brodeur, I mean, even Henrik Lundqvist would tell Pudgy that Marty Brodeur was much better than me. Okay? Now, Marty Brodeur, you talk about the trap era. Marty Brodeur played in 3 eras. He played in 3 decades. The 90s, the 2000s, and half of, after 2010, retired in 2015. All right? So, think about this. Henrik Lundqvist started his career after that year-long lockout, which they changed the rules because of Marty Brodeur, because he's able to handle the puck, a skill set rare for a goaltender to have, like Marty Brodeur. They created a trapezoid behind the net, and in order to defeat the trap, they took out the red line. Remember 2-line passing? That was allowed after that year-long lockout. And Marty Brodeur won Vezina trophies after that year-long lockout. On top of everything else, you want to compare Pudgy, Henrik Lundqvist, and Marty Brodeur? After that year-long lockout, from 2005 to end of Marty Brodeur's career in 2015, Marty Brodeur had 64 shutouts. Henrik Lundqvist started his career 2005, ended in, I believe, in 2021 or 2020 with the Washington Capitals. He had 64 shutouts. The same exact number, played more years than Marty Brodeur, and Marty Brodeur was obviously in the decline of his career after 2012, but still had the same amount of shutouts as Henrik Lundqvist. Remember, the game changed after that year-long lockout. You had the shootout, which Marty Brodeur had ties before that. Also, Marty Brodeur's numbers should be a lot more than it is, his career numbers, than it is today, because of the amount of work stoppages. The amount of work stoppages that were really caused by the New York Rangers. Because before the salary cap era, that year-long lockout in 2004 to 2005, that year-long lockout was because of the New York Rangers, because they didn't know how to stop spending. They were spending, their payroll was like near $100 million 25 years ago, while the rest of the league was at $25 million. The league actually had to put a salary cap because the Rangers were poaching every talent with money because there was no salary cap, and they sucked all the league's talent, like Pavel Bure, Eric Lindros, They even got Mark Messier on a second tour of duty. They got all the Theo Fleury, if you remember these names. All were piled on to the New York Rangers, and they sucked. And the Devils were unbeaten against them from 97 to 2001. It was bad for the league. And the league, Bobby Holik contract, if you remember that. And then even after the lockout, they had the Chris Drury contract, the Scott Gomez contract, the Wade Redding contract, and then they had another work stoppage where they were able to have one-time amnesty buyouts of the Wade Redding contract. Again, the Rangers sucked so bad that the league actually had to bail them out several times with these lockouts to get these contracts off the book. If anybody knows hockey, they would know that, but Pudgy, the WFAN host, so narrow-minded. Henrik Lundqvist, best goalie ever. Marty Brodeur, had a great defense in front of him. The New York Rangers, Mike Richter, and all them before that salary cap era had a bigger payroll than the New Jersey Devils. The Devils were living off of peanuts and winning Stanley Cups with Marty Brodeur. The Devils could have moved to Nashville, but it was Marty Brodeur that said no. No! And these stupid media, this is why we have this podcast, because they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm sick and tired of this old false narrative. It's almost like politics. Like they've got these Ranger fans that only watch the Rangers. They think they know hockey. No, they don't watch hockey. They watch the Rangers. And they have this talking point list of just unimaginative, uncreative substance of why the Devils suck. Oh, they got no fans. The Joe Beningo, 66 Sports. The Devil fans are just a disaster. Yeah, I went to 2003. I went up to the box office and got 2 tickets for the Devils Colorado series, and I paid face value. Devils have no fans, which everybody knows that's not even true. The place was sold out. If you wanted to get tickets at the box office, and this is before StubHub and all that, you had to wait in line, and it was a lottery system. And you were lucky if you had the right bracelet to buy just a handful of tickets at the box office. So, and this is part of the reason why I started this podcast. I want to get the records and facts straight on all this. The Pudgy could have a difference of opinion because he is a Rangers fan. He could have a difference of opinion. But if you're going to go on the #1 sports radio station in the country and say that, you just lost all your credibility. And I'm sick and tired of media members, sports media members, and it goes with Barstool, it goes with Spittin' Chicklets and all that, like to troll Devils fans to get a rise out of them so it's all clickbait for them so they make more money and they think it's funny. But the reality is you're not doing justice for the game of hockey. And I just think this is just absolutely, stupid. You want my opinion about Madison Square Garden? Okay. The real Ranger fans, which is a small percentage of their fan base, but the real Ranger fans that know hockey sit up in the 400 level. Everybody that goes to Madison Square Garden, me included, 100, 200, 300 level, whatever, everybody is sucking up to their bosses, brown-nosing. That's why they're selling out Madison Square Garden. They're not selling out Madison Square Garden because the Ranger fans love the team. The majority of Ranger fans love the team. No, they're selling out Madison Square Garden because the ones that can't afford tickets, corporate level, are all sucking up to their bosses, brown-nosing, bunch of phony corporate Ranger fans. That's the only reason why people go to Madison Square Garden, and even Knicks games, for that matter. That's just my opinion, of course. Joey B says, does Sam drive with or without a headset on, with negative 100, without plus 200? No, I drive without the headset on. Hands 10 and 2 on the wheel. 9 and 3 you prefer. Also, I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but, I try to be careful when I'm driving, if you know what I mean. Lower bowl MSG is 9% corporate tickets, says Joey. Yeah. So let's be honest here. Again, another talking point when somebody says, the Devils, they have no fans. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Look at that Madison Square Garden, the greatest sports arena. Why does New York City and the state of New York want to build a train station over Madison Square Garden? You knocked down the old Penn Station and built that dump asbestos that's only won, 3 championships in like 60 years? The Knicks twice in the 70s, and that 94 Rangers team that's really the Oil Hawks. So sick of it. Woo, why are you screaming? Because the same false narrative keeps on happening. These people are idiots. Maybe I'm an idiot for getting emotional over it, but these people are idiots. And then you give this pudgy a freaking microphone on the biggest sports radio station that practically invented sports talk radio to say the stupidest things. If you want to put, I know they're changing the lineups right now on WFAN. Do you know who should be full-time afternoons? Danielle McCartan. Because she actually does her research. She actually thinks before she speaks. My opinion, of course. My opinion only. Joey's asking how many meetings is Sam Wu missing to do this podcast in the parking lot. Doesn't matter how many meetings I'm missing. These talking points that I'm teaching you, the Devils fan, in case you ever, at the water cooler at work, when you got those Ranger fans talking up a storm that don't know what the hell they're talking about, be intelligent about it, and I'm giving you the Cliff Notes or the Woo Notes of facts why the Rangers suck. It's pathetic that an original 6 team only has 4 Stanley Cups to their name. Pathetic. And they've had the largest payroll for many years before the salary cap was implemented, and still can't even get it done. Oh, yeah, by the way, congratulations to the New York Knicks for winning the NBA Cup. I guess that's the only team in New York that's actually winning a cup. Good luck with your banner. Put it next to the, Brian Noonan Knight's retirement jersey, because every single 94 Rangers has had their jersey retired. Yeah, how about Brian Noonan Knight? Put that NBA Cup, banner in that dump. Joey B says Sam Wu is the enforcer at the water. I just talk facts. Facts. Sam Wu wears fighting straps on his shirts when in the office. No, I actually do put my fighting strap on if that jersey has a fighting strap on when I go to games. I do that, though. Wimpy says if the Rangers suck, Rangers didn't suck, it wouldn't be a message in the fortune cookie. Speaking of Rangers suck fortune cookie, Wimpy, we got to figure out when to do the exchange. And also, Lupus not is. I hadn't gotten an email from you. I need you to send me some details where to send the Rangers suck fortune cookies. By the way, Woo Bus 1, the Primetime Radio Studios Mobile Command Center, will be moved to this bus trip. When the Devils take on the Islanders January 6th, bus is leaving at 4 p.m. at Secaucus Junction. And email me for the details, sam@letsgodevils.com. One pricing, you get your ticket of choice, 100, 200, 300 level, so different price range where you want to be. Includes transportation. It includes 90 minutes of open bar and food. at a place next to the arena, and it includes your game ticket. Like, all you have to do is pay and show up. It's that simple. I've always wanted to do this, but again, I'm not in the travel business. I'd rather find somebody who I trust that knows what they're doing. This is a new company that Danielle McCartan, a WFAN, has started, and I've had her a few times on the podcast. She's a smart cookie, and we're going to take a chance on that, and we're going to make this fun because I love for this to be a cool thing where the podcasts will just do podcasts on the bus. You know, we can have fun time with that and travel to the away team's arena, do a total takeover, have beers, have food, take over the arena, win, and then get back and enjoy the Devils After Dark podcast on a moving bus. That would be cool. Sam Wu, my wife likes your jacket. What jacket are you talking about? Are you talking about the jacket? That's a huge jersey behind me. I don't know what you're talking about. Please be more specific. Pod Legend. Yeah, it's not a real thing. It's to sell tickets, hence why I'm making fun of it. Oh, you're talking about the NBA Cup? Yeah. I mean, it's a gimmick. I kind of like that gimmick. But yeah, it's Beer Baron is asking why I'm on air. Why don't you listen? Anyway, but yeah, so Woo Bus 1 road trip, Devils at Isles. You know, we could talk more about that. But still, like, I can't stand it when people go on air and don't do their homework and make outlandish claims. Like, I don't mind outlandish claims because if you're going to make me think, I like to hear the other side, other viewpoint. This is what we do on the Let's Go Devils podcast. We don't always agree. We agree to disagree, but we also do it in such a nice way where it's like, hey, we can actually have a heated conversation, but still love the Devils at the end. You know, and it doesn't have to be heated. NG Devil says, fan says, Beer Baron always seems to be a little behind. No, he's not a little behind. He's a dad, and also he's probably, texting me while he's teaching his kids right now in the classroom. But yeah. Let's see here. Let's see here. Any more comments? But yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Some of the talking points. If Ranger fans really want to get under your skin, the Avery rule. Oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Marty Brodeur just whined about it, and no, Sean Avery's teammates on the Rangers told him to stop. Again, it's bad for the game. It has bad intentions. Was it effective? It was just annoying. But, again, it's and Sean Avery, took things to the extreme of being an agitator. Some of the things he did, okay, whatever. We could do it back. But, again, Sean Avery was on a different level than most. NJ Devils fan says, I'm a dad of 4, no excuse. Okay, maybe he is a little behind. I tried to cover Beer Baron as much as I could. I tried. You have to admit that. This is why it's so satisfying to beat that team and to watch them suck. Yeah, although I will say, though, Mike Sullivan, I love his approach. I love the benching of Zibanejad. Yeah, I'm sure he got stuck in traffic. But you know what? That's the way the real world works. If you're late to work, there's accountability. I'm all about accountability. Sheldon Keefe, again, I'm impressed with him. I know the results are not there. You're like, why are you impressed with him? Because he's saying all the right things. And he would do exactly what I would do if there was, when facing all these problems that the Devils have had in the past, month. Yeah. Well, just so you're aware, I did scare Sean Avery once because I could tell this story. So when he went to the Dallas Stars, intern Rob got me 4 tickets behind the Stars bench. So I was actually had tickets where the away team comes out of the tunnel, and I dressed like Marty Brodeur behind the Stars bench. And he would look back, and I swear to you, he would look back and didn't know what to do and tried to stay away from me the entire time. We were holding up signs and all that kind of stuff, having a good time with it. But yeah, and if I can find pictures and videos of that night, this is going back in like 2010, 2009. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And then, true story. So Sean Avery turned around, but he didn't turn around at me because I'm wearing the Marty Brodeur gear. He turned around against, there was a young woman, let's just say, Devils fan, yelling at him. And he actually went like this with his hand, like, how much for the night? Like basically calling her a prostitute. And one guy, whoever that Devils fan is, who is very witty, yelled out, "She's not even 18. She's a child." And quickly, Sean Avery turned around and was so quiet. And actually turned out she was actually 18 years old, but we didn't want to tell him that at the time. But yeah, that was one of the funniest moments. Not a funny subject, but that was one of the funniest things when he was doing this, like how much for the night, and this guy right next to her that was very like quick. She's not even 18. She's a child. Oh my goodness, just laughing oh yeah. True story. Don't believe me. I have witnesses. Intern Rob was there. Airborne Mike Rosenswag says, Sam's truth-seeking and voice projection has me motivated to tack my day in search of the real facts, no BS. This is a podcast. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, and again, no artificial infuriation like Frank the Tank on bar stools. I don't do that stuff. If I'm mad, I'm mad. Max pointed out, the other day in our private conversation that, Sam, I didn't know you had that in you, but then I realized you suppress yourself all day, and it just comes out when you can't suppress it. Yeah, I'm actually that fiery guy 9 out of 10 times. I'll tell you, it took a lot of self-help books. It took a lot of, because, when I was younger, I'll admit, I had a temper problem. It was bad to the point where I didn't like myself. So I decided to do something about it and try to figure ways to calm yourself down. And it's kind of like driving. How I calm my road rage, coincidentally, I'm in the car. How I calm my road rage, and I learned this in defensive driving class. If some guy cuts you off and whatever, don't get road rage. Just let him go. Karma does all the dirty work because 5 minutes later, you either see him pulled over or he wrapped his car around a telephone pole. And you're like, karma got you. Karma does your dirty work. So if you're lazy like me, let karma do all the dirty work. Just go about your day. Somebody screwed you. All right, well, you know what? I'll laugh about it 5 years later. Believe me, karma exists. Karma exists. Wimpy says, Woo is raw and never scripted. I'm never scripted. There are a few times that I follow script, like when we had the interview with Doc Emmerich on the first time. That was a script because you don't want to screw that one up. All right, you got to set the boundaries there because you have respect a broadcasting legend like him. Always something 17 says, can we hear Luke Hughes? $9 million. That lady, I think she's a lady in section 15. I think row 10 or something like. Luke Hughes, you're not worth $9 million. Flyers, and she says it over and over and over and over and over again. Like, honestly, I wanted to shoot myself. I respect myself. I would never do that, like, But, like, honestly, I wanted to jump off a bridge. My friend Robin was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I can't take this anymore. She repeated it like 10 times, and I was so annoyed. I don't know how the other season ticket holders in Section 15 have to deal with that. Pod Legend 17 says, seriously, the people who just listened to the audio and waiting for the show are in for a real treat. I may have to listen again because this rant has been amazing. Yeah, screw those Ranger fans. Like, honestly. And I haven't even got started. Like, Flyer fans, okay? You only won 2 cups in the 70s, and you think, like it's been over 50 years since you last won a Stanley Cup. They keep on talking about the Broad Street Bullies, although I will admit, though, Danny Briere is rebuilding that franchise, right? And watch out. If he stays the course and not like Chris Drury where, he kind of expedited the course, which kind of screwed them, no, the Flyers are going to be very, very good. I'm a little worried about them. But, yeah, like the Flyers, Philly. I mean, the Eagles win the Super Bowl, and I'm on a cruise ship with limited data, and I used up all my data watching the Super Bowl celebration of an Eagles fan eating horse crap from a Philadelphia police horse. I mean, Philadelphia, they're a bunch of animals down there, although they're starting to get refined a little bit. I think the inbreeding has become to a minimum down in Philadelphia. Let's see here. Smile and wave. Hello, Wimpy. Joy B says Quinn Hughes is saving over $800,000 a year in taxes not playing in Canada. It's a business decision too, but playing in New Jersey is not business friendly to players with the taxes. Well, something that the Los Angeles Dodgers have discovered is it's called deferment. Okay, you defer the money. So say, like, let's take Luke Hughes' $9 million a year. Have him defer $8 million of it so it doesn't actually go into his bank account, and have a set schedule in 2035 when he gets the money. By then, no, maybe not 2035. Let's say 2050. He'll get the money then in escrow. So so the Devils put that money in escrow or some kind of fund count so it grows. And by that time in 2050, Luke Hughes moves to Florida where there's no income tax. Now, the stupid thing about New Jersey, everyone's like, New York's got the highest rates. California has the highest rates. True, on paper. But New Jersey is one of those states that taxes you income tax on gross income, not net, not after federal taxes. That's why New Jersey has the highest income tax rate in the country. Not income tax rate, but actually paying dollars and cents, because they tax you on gross income, not net income, which is a big difference for a lot of people. Boy, now I sound like a politician right now. But yeah, I mean, I wonder if the Devils can get creative like that and be like, all right, if you're going to be in Florida or Texas after your playing days, or why don't you defer it then, make a little bit of money while it's sitting in an account, and you as a young buck don't blow all your earnings right away by buying stupid crap that you'll have, I don't know, 7-year contract. You'll have 7 years of deferred money that, hey, if you blow the first 2 years, you still have 5 years of deferred money, for players that don't have very good spending habits. Anyway, if you got that, great, because now I'm giving financial advice on this podcast. Remember when years ago, about 6 years ago, I said buy Doge? I actually had people message me. You told me to buy Doge. I bought Doge at 7 cents and went up to 71 cents, and I sold it. I'm so happy. I was like, oh. Yeah. All, all results may vary. That's the disclaimer. Joey B says, is Sam Wu on the docks at Port Newark, no. I'm in the beautiful Edison, New Jersey, the beautiful, beautiful city of Edison, New Jersey. Pod Legend. I'd vote for Wu over most of the current elected officials. Hey, if I ran for governor of New Jersey, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find where the fraud and waste is, because I hate fraud and waste. I hate it. I hate that kind of stuff. It's bad juju. It's bad karma. It's bad juju. Get it out. All right? You don't need to spend $10,000 on a toilet, that kind of crap. You can't pay me off. They'll probably shoot me. But anyway, you can't pay me off. Well, maybe you can in other ways. But, I clean up the state. I'd make sure that the highways are plowed and salted. Anyway. Oh, it's almost 11:54. I've been going on almost an hour. Boy, this half an hour lunch that I just told everybody, now I'm really missing meetings. But anyway. Do me a favor. Let's all get together on January 6th on the Woo Bus One road trip through Danielle McCartan's company. It's called Empire Sports Travel Organization. I forgot what it's called. But I don't have notes here, so I'll get that to you. But if you have any questions about it or you want more information, go to sam@letsgodevils.com. sam@letsgodevils.com. That's my email address. You can communicate with me there, all that. You guys want more financial advice? Yeah, don't spend what you don't have. That's a good one. That's the other thing, too, that one of the ventures I would love to start one day is an online university called School of Common Sense, because nobody has it. But the problem is it's a bad business model, because people that don't have common sense would not have enough common sense to actually join my School of Common Sense. So that's why it's a bad business model. Let's see here. Mike Rosenswag says, for Devils fans in our 30s and 40s, we grew up with our hockey team in the shadows, being unrespected. Hockey journalists has to give our team respect it deserves. Look, the hockey journalists have not elected Stan Fischler in the Hockey Hall of Fame, the ultimate hockey historian, the guy that practically invented hockey journalism. That tells you a lot, okay? It tells you a lot about stuff, and I'll probably get in trouble by members of the media. We have a lot of good friends on the podcast, but that's just how I feel. That's how I feel. We can always disagree, but, again, I just still don't understand why Stan Fischler, who was alive and in diapers and saw the Rangers win the Stanley Cup back when it was the original 16, league, why is he not in the Hockey Hall of Fame? In Woo we trust, says Suka. Well, in Suka we trust too. Thank you very much. Sam Wu University, SWU. Yes, that would be a Big Ten school. Sam Wu University. I kind of like that. Common sense ain't so common. No, it's not. That's why you got Pudgy that's on WFAN on Drive Time, one of the most highly rated shows, making stupid comments about Lundqvist being better than Marty Brodeur. All right? But Marty Brodeur won a series against the Rangers in the playoffs by sweeping them 4-0, if anybody remembers that. Short memory from New York Rangers fans. We need to win something with Jack Hughes, and then the media will adore us. Yeah, they all love Jack Hughes. They love the Hughes brothers. They love all that. Also, coming over the wire right now for State of the Fan Address, we got James Nichols coming on. Yes, James Nichols, Devil's Beat reporter, coming on at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm telling Nick right now, on air now, letting everybody know. Yes, we got James Nichols, good friend of the podcast, coming on. So we're going to talk more Devils hockey. I mean, could be a quintuple header Wednesday. I don't know, but This Woo report has been extended. It's going to go noon. It's almost going to be like Devil's Lunch report at this point. But yeah, I want to thank all those tuning in to this podcast. Dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes. I missed my lunch for this. Also, Woo Bus 1 road trip. Devils versus Isles, or Devils at the Islanders, January 6th on Long Island. For more information, email me, sam@letsgodevils.com. I promise you it's going to be a great time. I'm going to have a good time. I know Art Heaton signed up. You know, I know Tom's on the fence about it because of work. That's okay. I was on the fence about it, but once I felt that you got an open bar, you got 90 minutes of eating food. If you want to have like a a salad eating contest with me at, don't let Mrs. Wu know, a salad eating contest at this place, I will. You know, anything to help get the Woo Bus 1 road trips off the ground. But Danielle McCartan, her new company, they're gonna do all the work for us. This is great. We can talk more hockey, not worry about the freaking commute to Long Island. And if this world works out, we're going to Flyers country. I got a great venue at Stateside Live where we did the podcast. If we do a Garden Invasion, Devils versus Rangers, Garden Invasion, we got American whiskey outside of Madison Square Garden, that dump that should be a train station. Just make sure you wear your N95 mask because apparently they didn't get rid of the asbestos at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous train station. All right, well, that's enough trash talking for now. What about the rumors linking Devils to Philip Deneau? They're just rumors. They're just rumors. Brunch Woo. After woon, says Tom. Love the punniness. Love the punniness, love the punniness, love the punniness. All right. Going to get out of here. Just got to get the graphic up. But yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with this morning Woo today. I was all bent out of shape that got a late start, sitting in traffic. Then telling my boss, like, look, I got to do this. Now I got to explain to him why I'm not back yet. But we had a long conversation. I feel like watch the podcast. You'll realize there was a lot of talking points about dealing with New York Ranger fans and their stupidity and a WFAN host called Pudgy. Well, that's what I'm calling him, Pudgy. Anyway, hitting the music. All right, I want to thank all those tuning in. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios Mobile Command Center, also known as Woo Jeep 1. That's what we'll call it. Hey, David Decker at Town Toyota off of Route 46 in beautiful Edgewood, New Jersey. If Town Toyota would like to sponsor and wants to be Woo Toyota 1, call me. I would love to drive a new Toyota Tundra around town doing the podcast from this fine vehicle. But I can't give up my Jeep. My Jeep has over 300,000 miles. I don't want to get rid of it because that's the only car I want to drive. I swear to you. Usually that's what poor people say, but, well, I am poor, but, you know, but I'll say it anyway. I just don't want to drive anything else. I've always driven Jeeps my entire life, but anyway. So I'm going to do the ceremonial sip to you, the Devils fans. See, my unsweetened iced tea is almost melted. It's almost iced tea, not unsweetened iced. No, almost tea, but unsweetened. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But to you, the Devils fan, till next time, this is the Morning Woo ceremonial sip. Let's go, Devils.